This football season, Regions doesn't want anything to get between you and the game you love, especially not a lost or stolen card. Lock It lets you lock your card before you even report the problem. Plus, with Lock It, you can use your Regions mobile app to customize your card protection for a little extra game day peace of mind. Because we get it. Some things are bigger than banking. Learn more at regions.com/lockit. Regions, member FDIC, data fees may apply.
Guys, you've heard me talk about Indochino and how made-to-measure suits fit better compared to generic off-the-rack suits. So if you haven't checked them out yet, now's the time, especially when they're available at such great prices. Indochino is North America's leading made-to-measure menswear company. They make suits and shirts to your exact measurements for an incredible fit and comfort. Very easy to get started. Visit a stylist at their showroom and have them take your measurements personally, or measure at home yourself and shop online at Indochino.com. Guys love the option to personalize the details, including your lapel, lining, pockets, buttons, and writing your own monogram. So get your perfect suit and just watch as the compliments roll in. And November is Black Friday season, meaning 2018's lowest prices, up to 70% off everything. Make an entrance at your holiday parties with Indochino. This week, our listeners can get Black Friday pricing by using the code GOLIC at checkout. That's 70% off the regular price for a made-to-measure suit, plus shipping free. That's Indochino.com, promo code GOLIC for up to 70% off. Incredible deal for a made-to-measure suit. Once you go custom, you don't go rack.
Yeah, buddy. Glad you're with us. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic Jr., Trey Wingo here with you as we get set for Monday Night Football tonight. Rams, Chiefs, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN.
Everyone's a little jacked up. Yeah, it's
Whatever.
It's all about the Irish today.
All
We're
about
talking about
Notre
the
Dame.
rest of the
No,
world.
we're looking forward. We're moving forward.
Right,
we're not looking back.
You're right.
We're
looking
moving
forward to Notre Dame in the playoffs. I just love all the people out there tweeting in, oh, you want to get to the playoffs, had the same thing happen against Alabama that happened to do them. So, yeah, if it happens, so what? Because you know what? You can't win a championship unless you're in the Final Four, which is where Notre Dame will be.
Yep.
If they lose, they lose. So be it. You can't hurt us.
No.
You can't hurt us
You can't
at
hurt
all,
us.
okay?
He's here for all your anti-Notre Dame tears.
Unless you're Michigan and Alabama and Clemson, your team won't be in it. Enjoy that.
Exactly. Your broke boys are going to be at the Betamax.com toilet bowl, chilling, doing not a gosh darn thing the entire time. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'll be over here on vacation at whatever bowl site we're at, enjoying myself, having a great time. Hell, I'll probably flex and go to the sideline just to say I did.
Woo!
How about that?
Woo!
How you like that? You know what you'll be doing?
Well,
you'll be watching from your couch as your team plays in the broke boy bowl.
Woo!
Big boy talk.
We now need a breakdown, historically, of the long and illustrious Betamax toilet bowl. I think I need to know everything about that game that's ever been played. Right? I mean, that's what has to happen now.
It's going to be a great one.
In
all seriousness, I'll probably be calling whatever bowl game your team is in, and I'll be excited about it. It's going to be a great time.
I just love the tweet from Amber. At ESPN Golic, hashtag Michigan football, hashtag go blue, hashtag Jim Harbaugh, and she has a let's go blue. Hey, Amber, we beat you. We beat you already, okay? Maybe we'll play again if you get it into playoffs, but we beat you already. Nice tweet. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. By the way, leave the hashtagging to Trey.
Yeah. Thank you. Hashtag I appreciate that. This is why, more than anything else.
Hate us all. Go ahead.
This is why, more than anything else, Michigan should not be crowing after they had to come back against Indiana at home. Right? Let's just be honest about that. If you want to make a statement, go make a statement. They did not make a statement in the positive direction.
No, they looked great, though. The offense, they figured it out. Oh, yada, yada, whatever. I'm here for it all. I'm done. I had to play nice in 2012. I get to stunt now.
You did.
Look at me.
Listen, me and your wife did not play nice. And listen, we got hammered. We did.
Me and his mom.
I mean,
your wife. It's your
my wife.
Yeah.
Me and my wife.
Wait, me and your wife.
Oh, okay.
So, right? That's what he said,
Wait,
right?
that is what he said.
Okay,
Guys,
so
by the way,
sure.
if you want to talk college football, we have a guest coming up very soon. We got other stuff to get to now.
Listen, Stanzik, you stay out of it. Your team got destroyed, Mr. Syracuse.
Had a great
so
season.
You don't get
It's
to
been a
comment
good run, Shug.
about this at all.
Yeah.
We will talk
Our
as much
quarterback
Notre Dame
got
football
hurt, whatever.
as we want to
Who
talk
cares?
Notre Dame football. And boy, there'll be a lot of it being talked.
Listen, I enjoy it because it's just less work for me.
There
so
you
you guys
go.
keep going as long as you want. Nah, we actually have to get to some other.
Yeah, we do.
And let's start with what's trending. What's trending is I don't care what happens Monday night. The Saints are the best team in the NFL right now. They improved to 9-1 with a 48-7 rout of the Eagles. That is the biggest loss margin ever for a defending Super Bowl champ, 41 points. The Saints are the first team in NFL history to have 6 40-plus games in their first 10 games. Think about that. 6 40-plus games in their first 10 games of the season.
Listen, and for the offense, to me, it's not that crazy because we always see this out of a Drew Brees offense. What's amazing is they lost some receivers. You get a guy in Traquan Smith all of a sudden who one catch through the first 4 weeks and a few catches here and there, and then we start seeing wide receivers getting hurt. All of a sudden, he's targeted 13 times, has 10 catches. So Drew Brees will find you, and if you make catches, he'll get confidence in you to throw it to you more. But still, to me, Mike, one of the biggest differences after the first 2 weeks, that defense started playing like they played last year, and that to me is going to be why they may represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
It's interesting. They were talking during the broadcast of that game about Jim Schwartz, the Eagles defensive coordinator, who has seen a lot of Sean Payton over the years, and he said it's amazing how much he continues to evolve. And they pointed it out. Bill Parcells is always in the back of Sean Payton's mind. And I was there in camp. You talked. There were sayings from Bill Parcells all over the facility. But one of the things that they brought up was the Saints rushed the ball as much or more than any team in the NFL. It's all about Drew Brees, certainly identity-wise, but they have now on the ground with the emergence of Kamara and Ingram in the last couple of years become one of the most dominant rushing teams in the NFL.
Listen, when they won the Super Bowl, they had great balance in Super Bowl 44. They had great balance on offense and defense. They have that now. By the way, I've been saying this all morning. It was wrong. I forgot another touchdown for the Bengals. It's actually 99-21 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Either way, it's really good, and the Saints are by far the best team in football. The Bears might just be the best team in the NFC North. Sunday night, my God, speaking of defense, what are we seeing about some of these top teams? Defense does matter. It certainly matters for the Saints, and Khalil Mack, Mike, did it again last night over Minnesota.
And he has friends. He's the catalyst of that defense, make no mistake about it. But Akeem Hicks in the middle, the defensive tackle in the middle is controlling the middle, and both these guys and that line are playing well against the run. You have tackling machines with Trevathan and with Roquan Smith, their first-round pick. So, and Eddie Jackson and Kyle Fuller actually leads with 4 interceptions. They have 10 different players who have an interception. They lead the league with 18 interceptions. They're tied for 4th in sacks. The defense has been dominant, and each week, you just look for a little more progression with Mitchell Trubisky. Matt Nagy puts more and more confidence in him to make the right throws. He still makes you nervous every now and then, but I tell you what I love, when that kid takes off to run, he is something to watch. He is a dangerous runner, now leading the league, but for quarterbacks as far as rushing yards past Cam Newton.
Embrace the things that your young players do well. We're seeing that as more of the mantra going around the league for these quarterbacks that come from college systems that maybe don't have as much experience. Mitchell only started 13 games at North Carolina, that maybe aren't running NFL offenses. The trickle up is becoming real, and Matt Nagy deserves as much credit as anyone for incorporating the things that he does well. That being said, the success or failure of this team hinges on the health of Khalil Mack.
Yes, it does.
I agree with that.
Had another sack and another forced fumble last night. But to your point, and a fumble recovery, by the way, in the same play, the essence of coaching is figuring out what your players do best and incorporate that to make them be their best. And that's what he's doing right now with Mitchell Trubisky. The passing still needs to get there.
Right.
But right now they're finding the things that Mitchell does well, and they're using it to their advantage. And that is everything you should be doing.
One thing that I really like when he runs, he's a dangerous runner, but he won't take a hit. I mean, he does a nice job of getting out of bounds or getting what he can get and sliding. You know, he's not about getting knocked around.
By the way, the Bears protecting their lead atop the NFC North, protecting the lead brought to you by ADT. Considering home security, consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more. And we'll wrap up what's trending with LeBron James doing LeBron James things. 51 points Sunday, and the Lakers win over Miami. I still find this hard to believe. It was the first time James has beaten Miami in Miami since leaving the Heat franchise in 2014.
Boy, that is something. 5th player to go for over 50 points with 3 different teams as well. And it's one of those where we keep talking about him playing with young players and going to help bring them along. Every now and then he just takes over. You know, he had more than double the shots of anybody else on the team. Sometimes, some games he's just going to say, I got this one, guys. on me, and he shoots as well as he did in this game to get himself over 50 points, and they get the win.
Well, and remarkably inefficient in the fourth quarter, which is something we're not used to saying about LeBron James, but that was just sort of the mode he was in once he got near this big number and against his old team that I'm sure there's not really ill will towards or anything. What they didn't accomplish in Miami is certainly noteworthy, but we've discussed this enough where everyone going back to a spot looking for, we didn't know his first win against the Heat since he left there. It tends to mean a little bit more, and so he went out there with a little extra.
And made sure he got that 50-pointer as time was expiring when the game was out of reach. I get it, the shot clock was winding down, but still kind of funny. All right, we'll see what happens with LeBron James and company going forward. They are now 9-7, the same record they were his first year in Miami when they went to the NBA Finals and lost, and the same year when he went back to Cleveland in 2014, 9-7, and went to the NBA Finals and lost. We are with you as it's been a great, great Sunday in the NFL, but it is going to be very interesting going forward. Golic and Wingo with you, ESPN Radio and ESPN News. It was kind of a crazy weekend in college football. Notre Dame stepped up. UCF stepped up.
Yes, they did.
Michigan
what a great show that was, by the way.
It was fantastic.
For game day out there.
For Central Florida to finally host that thing. Again, guys, it's been 23 months since Central Florida's lost a game. 23 months. Their last loss was December 17th, 2016. And so that's why College Game Day was there. And we're delighted to be joined now by College Game Day's Maria Taylor, who joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Maria, how much fun was the bounce house for College Game Day over the weekend? It looked like you guys were having a party.
Good morning, fellas. And yes, we definitely were, because the kids were having a party, and we went to the top of the bounce house to interview Mackenzie Milton's mom, and it literally does shake the entire time. So I did learn that. That is a real thing. The entire stadium moves when everyone starts jumping. But it was cool. I mean, Central Florida, they were so excited to have us there, and it was kind of like a celebration of what they had accomplished for the last 2 years, which was cool. And a lot of those seniors, remember, they went 0 for their first season. So for them to have gone through the last 2 years and gone undefeated, it was just cool to be around that group. And they've had 3 different coaches in 5 years, so they've accomplished a lot throughout that.
And Maria, up close and personal, talking to these players, we sit on the outside and say, I'd love to see them with a chance to play in the playoffs, but in the current system, they're just not going to get in there. And it's a shame for these players because they have a finite amount of time. They're doing all they can on the field and not losing. Just when you talk to them, how frustrated are they at this system?
Oh, they're definitely frustrated. I mean, Mackenzie Milton said it best. He always references that Notre Dame Pitt comparison. You know, we went in there, we won by 31, and Notre Dame struggled. They needed a last-second touchdown to score and win against Pitt. So he's saying, okay, there's a comparable opponent. Is this an opportunity for us to get in there? And we do have to remember that it is just difficult to win games. Players can get bored with doing the right thing. It's hard to hold a whole team together. It's hard to have a coaching transition for 2 years in a row and still win games. And they've done all those things. So they feel as though the current system isn't fair. It's not letting them or giving them an opportunity, but at the same time, they carry a chip on their shoulder every single game they play, which I think has also propelled them forward. I mean, every single game, they know that they're being doubted, and they use that as motivation and fuel in some ways to win games, too.
Talking to Maria Taylor, our ESPN college football analyst on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And Maria, you mentioned obviously the comparison with Notre Dame has been something that UCF is certainly a hug. But from what you guys saw out of the Irish this weekend, they had the other marquee game against Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. What impression did Notre Dame leave on you in a weekend, in a time where I think they had been inviting some questions about their quality as of late?
You know, I thought there's no doubt that Notre Dame is a college football playoff team with that win. I mean, basically going out and routing them. And you have to remember, maybe the schedule isn't as strong as you would like, but as far as double-digit victories goes, I mean, that's the 7th one in the last 8 games for Notre Dame. You can't hold anything against them right now. It seems as though the defense is clicking. I look back and I'm like, one of the best decisions that Brian Kelly made was making his defensive coordinator, Clark Leah, last winter. Because think about the way the defense has been playing as of late. That might have been a question mark in years past. And I feel like it's the same team maybe in 2012 that we saw. It reminds me of that defense. And then you add on that just the evolution of Ian Book and him getting better, it seems like every single game. And even though he was coming back from the rib injury, not a perfect game, but still, like the offense looks better every single week to me. So I've been impressed with Notre Dame. We've had them once this season. We'll have them again this Saturday night against USC. So it'll be good to have them in the last game of the season. And I think they've sealed their fate if they beat Southern Cal.
Maria Taylor with us from College Game Day, who, by the way, did a little bit of everything at Georgia, played volleyball and basketball. She clearly didn't play golf, as we found out when she went out with Mac Loudermilk, the punter for UCF. Maria, we need to work on your golf game a little bit.
Like, if you guys are ever going to play golf, especially while I'm around during basketball season, just let me know. Just give me a call. I need some help. That was like the first time. We didn't show the first swing because I missed the ball.
It happens. It happens.
Okay.
So there's one thing you can't do. Congratulations. We're so bummed.
By the way,
you can do everything else. You can't hit a golf ball.
By the way, Maria, speaking of your alma mater, we saw one of our teammates in Laura Rutledge down there.
Yeah.
It was a rough weekend for Laura. Have you checked on her? Is she doing all right after her trip down by the hedges?
I did. As soon as I saw it, I was like, girl, what happened? She said, back hurts a little bit. She's a little sore. She's a little banged up, but she said that nothing is broken. Everything's clear. Everything's negative. I was worried about her, though. I really was. But she's having fun with it, which is good.
And that was after Uga dragged her across the stage. So
it was rough for her being a Gator in Athens on Saturday. I will say that. That was rough for her.
Yeah, so she had a rough weekend on one level. You had a rough weekend with golf, but we'll move past that seamlessly. Maria, for the other things we saw, obviously the Citadel gave Alabama all they wanted at the first half, and then they poured it on in the second half. And then both Michigan and Ohio State were completely underwhelming in their wins over the weekend at Maryland, and Michigan at home taking on Indiana. Of those three teams, let's just take Alabama out of it. Michigan and Ohio State, which one gave you more of a bigger concern?
I would probably say Ohio State, and maybe the biggest concern was that we've seen this before. It seems as though the defense is it's so porous right now, and I don't know what's going on or how they're going to be able to control any type of offense that comes in with a plan or that's clicking. So for Maryland to be in the game and making an overtime decision to go for two, and they're a play away from getting the win, I think that's concerning. I am also concerned, though, for Michigan and the fact that we saw Chase Winovich go off, and we don't know what his status is. And I think he's the heartbeat of that team, having covered them a couple of times. I know the x-rays came back negative, but if that's an AC joint or soft tissue injury, that's still hard to play with. And I do think for Michigan, part of it was just boredom. Indiana was not on the revenge tour, so they're trying to process through that game. It's senior night. All these things are happening. So I wasn't worried too much about that game other than the injury. But really for Ohio State, it's just kind of like, what's going on? When is everything going to start moving forward for them?
Maria, everybody is hinging on this SEC title game. Now, Georgia still has to play Georgia Tech. Alabama still has to play Auburn. But if they get by those games, they meet in the SEC title game. We know the battle these two teams had last year. For your alma mater to win that game, what needs to happen?
I think defense has to show up and be very good at the end of the day. We haven't had a very strong showing from that linebacker, the second level of the defense. That's going to have to come in strong. They're going to have to make a lot of plays. And I think it's unfortunate because a couple of injuries, even against Citadel or UMass is who they played last week, I didn't see all of the defense on the field, and I was kind of worried about it a little bit. But at the same time, you want to conserve and make sure that everyone makes it healthy into Georgia Tech and they make it healthy into Alabama. You're about to play a cut-blocking team in Tech. You're about to have to prepare for the triple option, and then you're going to have to flip the switch and go to Alabama. That's a tough two games to have back-to-back for Kirby to be preparing for this Georgia defense to be preparing for. But I ultimately think, the secondary is going to have to make plays. They're going to have to be able to play one-on-one out there on islands by themselves, and that linebacker core is going to have to make a lot of plays. And I don't know that they've been forced to do that with really strong backs running downhill at them.
Talking to Maria Taylor here on Golic Wingo, one of the hosts on College Game Day you see every weekend. And Maria, we know by now, obviously, the teams in the top four control a lot of their destiny at this point. For the fringe teams going into this weekend, who do you think is holding their breath the most? Who do you think going into this weekend of the teams just outside that top four and maybe Georgia has the best chance of finding a way into the college football playoff?
I think as far as their own destiny in their hands, it probably has to be Georgia because you could have the best win of any team this year right in front of you. Like, that is your chance right there. So if you think of it that way, then I think maybe a Michigan could be holding their breath because if you think about it, then their fate's not in their hands. They could do everything right and still potentially not make it in because if you're going to go with two one-loss teams and the team that has the better win, I think it would be Georgia. So it's that 4-5. Those last two teams. I don't think Notre Dame is. I think they get an easy win against USC. So I feel like every other spot is almost sealed. Clemson, I don't see them losing to Pitt. I don't see them having a loss or stumbling anytime soon. So that's kind of the tough part right there. I think 4, 5, 6. It's going to be fun the last week of the season.
Well, listen, we all want chaos, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Give me the
exactly.
chaos.
I'm waiting for it. I'm literally waiting for it.
We all want the chaos. The chaos, of course, is you with a golf club in your hand. So we got to make sure, Maria, you do everything else. So we need to make sure you just spend some quality time on the range, and I'm sure the game will come to you like everything else comes to you.
Okay, I'm going to try it, guys. I'll let you know.
Perfect.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, Maria, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, she is incredibly good at almost everything she does.
She is. I don't think we're going to get the drama we want. I don't see it. I think Alabama's going to beat Auburn and then beat Georgia. Clemson, I don't think, is losing. Notre Dame is going to beat USC, and I think Michigan's just flat out better than Ohio State this year. I don't care where they're playing the game. That even though it's a rivalry, I understand it, but I think those are going to be the 4.
Yeah, and the UCF path, is there a path? This is from our Brad Edwards, okay?
Yeah.
Here it is. Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, UCF all win out. Washington wins the Apple Cup. Texas wins the Big 12. Northwestern wins the Big 10. Who gets the 4th spot? LSU's been ranked ahead of UCF in each of the rankings and finishes their season with Texas A&M this weekend. UCLF will gain 1 spot on LSU this weekend as they will pass West Virginia. UCF plays USF, then Houston or Memphis in the AAC championship game. Are those wins enough to jump LSU in the standings and get into the playoff? That's basically it.
I just stopped listening.
Yeah, I would say the answer is no.
Yeah,
like, again, barring the most impossible version is what I'm interested in now, because they've become the 2 names that have been most discussed in this, is there any way, and I don't know this, in the New Year's Six Bowls, because that's what UCF's really playing for,
right?
The highest ranked Group of 5 team in the New Year's Six. Is there any way they can match up with LSU there? Because that's the matchup everyone's going to want to see. You've had 2 losses. You've been ranked higher than us the entire way and probably will. Give them a shot.
Well, and that's sort of what played out with Auburn last year, although Auburn was deflated, and you wonder where LSU's mind state will be. They're thinking, well, this is not where we wanted to be to begin with, right? We might be having that same scenario.
Exactly. That's right. You know what? That won't matter to UCF, and that's the team I have a feeling of, as much as any else, as much as they talk about Notre Dame, that's the one they want.
And again, they haven't lost since December 17th of 2016. Coming up, I heard this a lot when I was in school. Don't mess with Texas. And one team found out the hard way.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent lightning storm. Here to describe the event, a TV tray.
I was watching football and holding a plate of meatloaf when kabam! A bolt of lightning slams into the apartment, blowing out the TV and surround sound.
Anything you could have done to help?
Ma'am, I'm a foldable table, not an electrician.
Your TV tray can't help you in a lightning storm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Go to geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
You know about Blink motion-activated security cameras. Amazing technology for detecting anyone sneaking around your home or trying doors, and of course, monitoring holiday package deliveries. Blink is inviting ESPN listeners to score massive savings during its Black Friday Cyber Monday event. Go to blinkprotect.com/radio and sign up for an alert when the sale starts. That's blinkprotect.com/radio. Or hit amazon.com and search Blink Security. Blink is an Amazon company.
Golic and Wingo with you, ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. Golic and Wingo also brought to you by 1-800-Flowers, hosting a Thanksgiving gathering. It's no small accomplishment. Show them just how much you appreciate all the hard work with 24 multicolored roses for $24 from 1-800-Flowers. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. Mike, do we need to start sending roses and bouquets of concern to the Golden State Warriors?
I'm going to say no. But they are struggling right now. There's no doubt about that.
Well, listen, after the dust-up between Draymond and KD last week, they came back and won a game, and Klay Thompson said, look, man, all we have to do is win Thursday, win Saturday, win Sunday, and it'll be in the past like a ponytail. Well, they didn't win Thursday, they didn't win Saturday, and they didn't win Sunday. The Warriors have lost 3 straight games as they lost to the who did they lose to last night? San Antonio or Houston?
San Antonio. They lost. It's the first time since 2011 they've been swept on their Texas trip. Yep. Houston, then they lost to Dallas. Now they lost to San Antonio.
So it is not in the past like a ponytail.
Nope.
Now, granted, none of us are actually that concerned because they are banged up. Draymond Green has the sprained toe. Steph Curry has the groin. But, you know, the whole thing about last week wasn't more about the injuries, but the team finding a way to work together. And that still, I think, is going to be a problem they'll have to deal with going forward.
Well, I mean, they're going to get those guys back from injury. Remember, Boogie Cousins will be coming in, will it be by the end of December, beginning of January, when he's going to end up on the floor. They'll have to work him into it as well. Again, all this can be based around injury, but they're a team that can afford usually to lose one player. We've seen them play, especially in some of the playoffs without Steph when he's been dealing with injuries. They're just that good. So I don't worry about them. When they need to be right, I think they'll be right. I think they'll win another championship. And then I think the offseason will be, again, very, very telling with Kevin Durant and with Klay Thompson, both free agents, on what might happen there.
And again, this is just so unusual because of the run they've been on these past 4 years. They've lost 3 straight games. They had one of those streaks all last season. What was the common denominator? Steph Curry missed all of those games as well. They're 2-4 this season in games without Steph Curry. At one point, they're 10-2 with him. Last year, they were 41-10 with Curry, 17-14 without him. We all agree that Kevin Durant is the overall best player on that team right now. But Steph Curry is the actuator of everything.
Yeah, he is. And you still wonder, okay, even if they're down a little bit, that we think they'll get it together, who's going to beat them in a series? Again, it's not a one. They're losing these individual games, but they have to get beat in a series. And we know last year that was close.
Yeah.
With Houston, no Chris Paul and 0 for 27 on 3. So that really whet our appetite for this year. Now, the Rockets have not been playing well by any stretch of the imagination.
Although they've gotten it going a little better.
They have gotten it going. They're 8-7 now, so they're picking it up a little bit. But that was the hope of, them. Was there anybody else, that was going to maybe give them some trouble? All of a sudden, the East got a little deeper. So the rep coming out of the East may be a stronger team to match up against Golden State. So we'll see. I still don't worry that Golden State will be there at the end.
But just understand, first and foremost, how incredibly important it is for Steph Curry to be there. And yes, we believe that Kevin Durant is the best overall player on that team when they're all on the floor. However, the Warriors have won 21 straight games, when Steph Curry plays, but Kevin Durant does not.
How about that?
That just tells you. There's that great clip from a few years ago when Steve Kerr, when Steph wasn't shooting very well, and he sits on the side and says, "Look at the movement. Look at the shot. The movement you're allowing everyone else to get their shots." And these are one of those times where Steph Curry realizes, "Wow, this is Steve Kerr rather." Realizes this was what it's like for everybody else who doesn't have this lineup they can just throw out like, a full house every time or a royal flush. These are the things that every other NBA team goes through.
I've had a dream run for, 4.5 years. We've had, such a charmed existence the last 4 seasons. So, yeah, of course, this is the toughest stretch we've been in. This is the real NBA. We haven't been in the real NBA the last few years. We've been in this dream, and so now we're faced with real adversity, and we got to get out of it ourselves.
Again, the Warriors have lost 5 of their last 7. That 2-5 matches the team's worst 7-game stretch ever under Steve Kerr. So they're struggling.
Yeah, they're struggling, but I think they'll be all right.
The other team that we maybe need to talk about, and I got to give Junior props. He was all in on this way before we ever even thought about it. But the Lakers, after that very slow start, have won 5 of their last 6 games, including last night. LeBron James pumps in 51 as he gets his first win in Miami since he left that team before the 2014-2015 season. 50 points for the 3rd franchise that he's played for. Only the 5th person ever to do that, and let's just say LeBron was pleased.
LeBron, it's your 12th 50-plus point game of your career. What are you feeling on a night like that?
After our performance last night, I feel like, that cross-country travel caught up to us in Orlando in that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So, we had to come out with a lot of energy. We know how hard this team play, how well they play at home, and it was a good road win for us.
All right, your scoring aside, as a team, how did you get back to the defense that you were playing aside from that Orlando game?
Listen, if we defend, we're a very good team. If we don't defend, we're not that good. So it's that simple for our ball club. So, for us to come out and defend the way we defended versus a team that can score a lot in bunches, especially at home, it was a good game for us.
You've been back here several times as a Cav, LeBron. Does it still mean something a little bit more when you come back to Miami?
Absolutely, man. I got a lot of special memories here. Got a lot of special memories in Cleveland. I'm trying to have some special memories here, too, as a Laker. So, hopefully I can continue it, but it's always special to go back where you've done something well.
So back-to-back games on the road at Orlando where they gave up 130.
Crazy.
In a loss. Now they beat Miami 113-97. It's the second time this year, only the second time this year, they held the team under 100 points. November 10th, they held Sacramento to, 86 points? If I'm looking at it, my eyes aren't betraying me. Those are the only 2 teams, Sacramento and Miami that they held under 100 points. You know, that's been the bugaboo for them, as they're not able to stop teams very well. And you heard LeBron mention that right away when they get their defense going. But this was also one of those games where LeBron just took it over. You know, we talk, as I mentioned earlier, we talk about him bringing along the young guys. Every now and then he's just going, my game, I'll
turn.
take care of it.
Yeah.
A couple of things that were interesting. One, when they talk, I remember the list coming out. There was a list of players, and they said, who of the current players would make really good head coaches?
Yep.
And Rajon Rondo's name was on there, and everybody was like, wait a minute, dude's kind of out there a little bit. And Rajon Rondo had the clipboard. Rajon Rondo was in with the coaches and all the timeouts. You would have thought he was an assistant coach.
Because he has that broken hand.
Yeah, broken hand. So he's out for a while. He was right there with the coaches, right there in the huddle with the coach, the timeout when everybody, the players go to the bench and the coach are on the floor. He was out there with him. He had a clipboard. That was pretty cool to see. You know, we know he understands the game and is very smart about the game. That was very cool. And then lists. Lists that include Wilt Chamberlain are the greatest lists. The all-time list of most 50-point games. LeBron, as we know, just moved into sixth place.
Correct.
I'm just going to give you the players who have double digits.
Gotcha.
Okay? Eighth place, Kareem has done it 10 times. Now, James Harden, I should say, is ninth. He's done it 9 times.
Right.
So he's getting close. Kareem has 10. Allen Iverson, 11. He's 7th. LeBron just moved into sixth place. He has 12. Rick Barry, 14 times. Elgin Baylor, 17 times. Kobe Bryant, 25 times. Michael Jordan, 31 times at number 2. Wilt Chamberlain, 118 times.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Put it another way. There have been 69 60-plus games in NBA history. Wilt Chamberlain has 32 of those. I mean, he's just...
I just love reading lists with him. Just fantastic.
Yeah. Kemba Walker, by the way, had a 60-point game over the weekend and lost because Jimmy Butler did amazing things over the weekend. But that just shows you how crazy Wilt was when it came to, you know, putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, guys
or
that are
finishing the deal.
Guys that are current. Russell Westbrook has done it 5 times. Kevin Durant done it 5 times. Steph Curry 6 times, and I mentioned James Harden 9 times.
I'm just curious to see where this Lakers team goes because, you know, LeBron was asked about it at the beginning of the year. You don't want to be there when my patience runs out. Mm-hmm. This team is beginning to respond to him, and if the Warriors are going to be a little banged up and some of those other teams that were, you know, so loaded or maybe aren't as good as we thought we were, like Utah's really struggled this year in the West, I'm curious to see where this team ends up. But, again, kudos to LeBron from getting it done.
But you're right about Utah. Utah struggled some. Houston, now they're picking it back up. But they had struggled some as well. So we'll see. I still am holding where I am with the Lakers.
You
we'll
said
see.
7 or 8?
7 or 8. I think in that area.
And that's sort of where they are right now.
Yeah, they're sitting in the 7th slot now. But, again, we're 16 games in. So
correct. There's a lot of season left. All right, coming up, a lot of hot air in the competition, and something stinks about it. And we'll get to the bottom of it after this.
Really going down that road, huh?
Hey, Molly Karam here, host of ESPN's First Take, and I am super excited because football is back, and you know where you'll find me this fall, at the game, thanks to Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. With the Vivid Seats app, it's so easy to find awesome seats to any game, and every purchase is backed by their 100% buyer guarantee. Head to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Get in the action with Vivid Seats. Your team needs you.
Guaranteeing promotional terms available on vividseats.com.
To me, you're drowning the flavor of the steak. Listen, I'll put a little butter on my steak.
Dining like a king.
Maybe a little crab on top of the steak. Ketchup just drowns out the flavor of the steak. It is an irrational thing with me because I will put ketchup on every cheeseburger I'll eat every day. It's something about the steak being sort of elevated from cheeseburger, right?
Yeah.
Cheeseburger's more of a pedantic, pedestrian.
You're a meat elitist. That's what you are. You're a meat elitist.
That is awesome. Golic Wingo brought to you by Peloton. Peloton, a game-changing indoor cycling bike, is a perfect gift this season, and you will be in a pool of your own sweat after a workout there. Peloton's best offer of the year is here for 1 week only, now through Cyber Monday. Get the Works accessories valued at $249 free when you buy the bike. For more details, see onepeloton.com. Golic Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Wasn't here Friday.
You weren't.
After the ceremony in...
By the way, again, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, myself and Mike Greenberg.
Fourth Hall of Fame.
Went in the Radio Hall of Fame. It was a nice ceremony, and then We went out. The Perianos came down with us, led by Alex Periano.
Ace Boogie, Alex Periano, our dude, our dude.
We went out after that. Let's just say we all celebrated.
There you go.
It was a lot of fun. But I met you guys touched on the Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
Likes ketchup on steak and on mac and cheese.
Where are you on that?
I like ketchup. I'll eat ketchup, but I've never put it on my steak, and I've never put it in mac and cheese. I would do hot sauce and mac and cheese,
right?
But I've never done ketchup. I mean, I don't care if he does it. I'm one of those. If you want to do it, do it. Go ahead.
Right. Well, you went after the National Hot Dog Council, whatever, telling you what you couldn't
Telling
do.
me I couldn't. Yeah, exactly.
So I did NFL Live Friday, and we ran the Patrick Mahomes sound. And of course, whenever I do NFL Live, I eat stuff. So they said, "Would you be willing to eat a little macaroni and cheese with ketchup on it?" I was like, sure. Mm-hmm. I tried it. It was as bad as I thought it was
bad,
going to
huh?
be. It was just horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. There's something about those two flavors because I will put ketchup on almost anything.
Do you put anything on your steak?
No, I just like maybe a little butter, a little crab.
Yeah, but no like steak sauce or anything like that. I try not to.
Yeah.
Try not to. I hope the steak is good enough to where it doesn't need it.
Correct.
Yeah.
They got on me about that Friday because I said I'll put it on a cheeseburger because a burger is a burger.
Burger's a burger. It's not a steak.
You need to dress it up.
Unless
the
it's a
steak, you want to
burger.
celebrate the steak. Well, now we're going down the mind-blown thing with the steak
sorry
burger.
about that.
I don't know what to do. We got to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
We also get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
A lot of our stories in sports talk about opulence, omnipotence, decadence. How about flatulence?
Yeah.
There was a big thing that happened in the Scottish, not the Grand Slam of darts.
Yes.
Scottish dart player Gary Anderson defeated Dutchman Wesley Harms 10-2 to earn a spot in the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam of darts. But apparently Harms did not go down gently.
Yep.
He said he couldn't perform at his best because there was a terrible smell on the stage that, quoting now, likely came from the posterior of his opponent, Gary Anderson.
Blamed his opponent for a little flagellation up by the dart, saying he couldn't. He said it was horrible. He said it's going to, what did he say? It's going to take me
2 nights.
2 nights.
To lose this smell from my nose. So basically, the guy that lost in darts, Wesley Harms, saying, I couldn't perform at my best because the stank was so bad, it was messing up my dart tossing.
Yeah, now the guy who was accused, Gary Anderson, said, quote, if the boy thinks I farted, he's 1,010% wrong. I swear on my children's lives that it was not my fault. There was a third person up there.
Yes.
Russ Bray doing the announcing, and he says, wasn't me. Yeah. He categorically denied being the culprit. He declined to comment further when approached by the BBC.
My favorite thing about this is he's 1,010. Well, there's so many things about this that I enjoy. Yeah. He's 1,010% wrong. Is that like a Scottish phrase? Wouldn't it be just he's 100% wrong? Where do you go from?
There's nothing more than 100%.
Right, but how do you get 1,010?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the curious part for me.
I guess he was really emphasizing the fact that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Somebody did it. Now, the guy who won says he thinks it came from the fans who can sit pretty close. And by the way, normally are hammered.
Yes.
Hammered at these events, which I think is really, really cool. So he thinks it may have come from down there and just kind of wafted up onto stage.
I saw this story, and we had to do it.
Yeah.
Professional Darts Corporation Chairman Barry Hearn says, we've got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Something doesn't smell right.
By the way, they do have the authority to fine or suspend players guilty of gamesmanship or lack of professionalism.
Well, where would this qualify? Now,
gotta be. I think it could be both.
Right? I mean,
right?
If you had to pick one, the penalty for letting a little air biscuit out there to disrupt your opponent, would you call that lack of professionalism or gamesmanship? Which one would you choose?
I think you could do both.
I think it's a double down.
I think you could do both.
Yeah, and then again, Barry Hearn, he must be enjoying this so much. Not only does he say we have to get to the bottom of this, something doesn't smell right. There is nothing worse than a silent fart.
Yeah.
This could run and run. So, hey, Darts, congratulations, and we hope your Monday's off to a better start than what happened with these two guys on the stage.
Wow.
I don't
even know where to go. Outside of worst place this could happen?
Yeah.
Elevator?
Elevator
plane.
Is terrible. Plane. There's crop dusting on a plane is just not acceptable.
Yes.
Not acceptable in any way.
Certainly not at a dart contest.
Again, dart contest. Yeah. Not a fart contest.
No.
A dart
Come on,
contest.
That's too easy.
Moving
we are
on.
Children.
We are, and we are embracing who we are. Are we embracing Mitchell Trubisky after a big win? We'll ask our next guest as we stay Wingo on Golic and Wingo. Way to save it. Stay Wingo.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent hailstorm. Here to describe the event, a football.
Bro, I was just hanging on the roof when this gnarly storm starts dropping baseball-sized hail. I mean, the shingles got beat up. A few windows looked broken. It was savage.
Did you do anything to help?
Nah, bro. I was in survival mode.
Your football can't help you in a hailstorm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Call Geico to see how affordable homeowners insurance can be.